welcome back. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. So I just recently did a video on my makeup favorites for 2020, but I didn't want to include all of the eyeshadow and lip products that were my favorites for that year in there because it was getting a little too long. So now we are continuing. We're going to go over my favorite eyeshadow palettes for 2020 first. So as I mentioned in my other video, my very favorite eyeshadow palette for 2020 has to be the new formula of the Dior Quints. And I really love the number 669 Soft Cashmere Quint, but I think this one and the Tutu are probably my two favorites. I haven't tried all of them yet, but those are the two that I reach for the most, and I really love combining them. So let me show you Tutu. So here is Tutu, and it's this shade in particular that really wins me over every time with this quint. And I have to say the rest of these are not ranked, but some of my favorite releases this year would be the Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2 palette. So I picked up the one in the limited edition packaging, and you can just see how beautiful these shades are. And one of the things I love about this palette is there are still enough neutral shades in here that you can create a very wearable everyday look, but then you also have these bright shades or like this trichrome shade here that really, you know, just adds so much to the palette. So I think this is definitely a winner for 2020. As a matter of fact, Divine Rose 2 has become one of my favorite Pat McGrath palettes. It's in my top 3. So I can't decide whether it's number 2 or number 3, but it's definitely up there. Another quad that I wanted to include is this one from Chanel, and it did not come out in 2020, but I bought it in 2020, or rather this was actually gifted to me by a friend. So this is number 306, Splendor et Audace, and I wish Chanel would go back and make more palettes like this because I love the colors here and the finishes on these are just so nice. So here's the green, and you can see how rich and pigmented they are and the sheen that they have on them. Next, I also wanted to include the Chantecaille Le Chrome Luxe Eye Duos, and I have 3 of these. I picked them up during 2020. Again, they are not actually a new product to 2020, but the finish on these is awesome. If I had to pick one, I would go with this one here, which is Grand Canal. You can see you've got this gold and a green shade, and these they're so shimmery on your eyes, but they're not sparkly. There are no chunks. So it's really awesome. I love the finish on these as well. Then we also have the SUQQU eyeshadow palette from this year. This is from the holiday collection, and this is what I have on my eyes right now. I absolutely love it. You can go really soft and light like I did. You can build it up. You have 3 different finishes here. You've got more of these like metallics, more of the shimmery shades, and you've got some mattes. And I think all of the colors really are well curated. You can look at them in quads going like in rows or in foursomes and mixing and matching. There's just so many looks that you can do with these. I absolutely love this palette. I also have 2 Tom Ford palettes I wanted to include, and this is the holiday palette from this year. This is First Frost, number 4, from the Soleil Neige collection, and I absolutely love this. You know, it does have some similarities to Nude Dip and some other, you know, more neutral quads from other brands and so forth, but this pink shade here I feel is very special because it has a little bit, it's not really a true duochrome, but you can see like glints of gold in there, which I think is really nice, and I love this. So it has kind of surpassed some of my other more neutral palettes. I really think this is a great palette for me. I also ended up really loving the Mercurial palette, and I think this is a great quad. Both of these quads are the wet dry formula, which I really love. So I think this is fantastic. And I have Honeymoon, I have Nude Dip. This is kind of like a cooler tone version of half of each of them. So it is slightly cooler in tone than both, and I really like it. Now it is very similar to both. If you have both, you don't actually need this, but I just think it's a great palette. I also wanted to include this Pat McGrath quad, and this is the Celestial Divinity Luxe Quad in Interstellar Icon. This burgundy shade here is Blue Blood from the Decadence palette, but the other 3 shades are new. And this blue shade here in particular is my favorite, but I also love this like olive green brown mix. Here's the blue one. I mean, look at that. I think you can see it's got some like other shades kind of mixed in there. You see a little bit of like that pink and burgundy in there as well. I just think it's a gorgeous shade and it complements the others so well. So this is definitely a 2020 favorite for me. And then I couldn't resist including the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Face and Eye Palette in Intensity 2 Moonlit Violet. I love the eyeshadow quad here. I like the contour and highlight shade that is included here as well, but really for me, it's all about the eyeshadows in here. And I think these are beautiful. You can, you know, for me, these are more like sophisticated purples and I absolutely love them. So I think this is a great palette and another 2020 favorite. And I also want to include the Natasha Denona Glam palette. And I love this. Now they're calling it like cool tone neutrals, and there are cool tone neutrals in here, but there are also warm shades in here. So it's not all cool tone. And I think it works well for quite a variety of people, but I love the mix of finishes that you have in here. It's very versatile. There are so many looks you can create. I'm not a fan of the naming system that she did, but you know what? Not a big deal. This palette, you can move things around, and her naming system here, you know, it's based on where is a recommended place to apply the shadow. So you can easily pop them out and move them around to something that suits you. She even has suggestions on different ways to rearrange it based on skin tone and so forth on her website. So I think this is a great palette and it's definitely one that I reach for a lot. Now, just a few more that made my favorites list. These are the Hummingbird Quads from Chantecaille's spring collection. So we've got the warm tone and the cool tone. And I think these are fantastic. I love the slate shade in particular here in the warm quad, and I wish they would make that a full-size single. And then I love all of these shades here, particularly this taupe and this light pink here. You can see I've used those quite a bit in the cool tone quad. But I love the formulas of these. I love the colors. I think they are fantastic. So these are definitely favorites of mine. Then I also have a couple of favorites from Viseart. So this is the Viseart Paris palette and Paris Edit. I really love this. You know, I think you've got warm and cool tones in here that are really easy to kind of mix and match. You can get a wide variety of looks. You've got a bunch of different finishes. Got small pan sizes, so you can get a lot of colors in here but still keep that compact size. And you have, you know, nice portable packaging. My other favorite would be the new Violette Étendue palette. I love this. I love purple eyeshadow. I think this one is incredible, but you also have a lot of neutral shades here, and they all have like a little bit of a purpley tint to them or a rosy tint. And I think, you know, it makes it a little bit more unique than a typical neutral palette, but you can create a totally neutral eye with this, or, you know, punch it up with some brighter shades in here as well. You've got some duochrome finishes in there. And this is the new 1.5 gram pan size, which I really like. And on the same note, I have to include the Viseart Petit Four quad in Lilas. And in particular, I love this shimmer shade here. This is also the same size as the Violette Étendue, so you can mix and match these. All of these pans are removable and lift out. You've got a little like groove here to lift your finger. And this is another favorite of mine. And then I also wanted to mention an eyeshadow single. These are the Chantecaille Luminescent Eye Shades. I have all of them and I love all of them. From this year, the only 2 new ones would be Crane, which is this one here, and Zebra. And out of those 2, the Crane one is my favorite. If I had to pick my very favorite luminescent eye shade, it would be Elephant, followed by Cheetah. But these are fantastic. I love all of the colors, and I love the formula of the luminescent eye shades. So another one that I picked up this year, which is actually from a few years ago, this is the luminescent eye shade in Mare. It's not part of the same series. It's limited edition, but it's this gorgeous minty green shade, and I absolutely love this. But it is getting harder to find. I'm not even sure if it's available at all anymore, but beautiful, beautiful shade. And if people request these things, they will return. So that's what they tell me, at least at SUQQU. They say if people keep requesting them, they will bring them back. And I know that has worked with certain things. For example, the Perfect Blur powder that everybody loved from the Hummingbird collection is coming back in the spring in new packaging. One more eyeshadow palette I want to include is the Byredo Sciomancer palette. Now, I did pick up Siren. I haven't tried that yet, but that video will be coming up soon. And I also have Corporate, but I find that these 4 shades here in Sciomancer are different from the ones in Corporate. The formula is just, it's a really nice creamy shadow. The texture is different. I absolutely love it. So if you're looking for bright colors, this is a fantastic palette. So I would recommend this one. I don't know for sure about the other ones. I like the Corporate palette as well, but this one makes it into my favorites and Corporate does not. Oh, and last but not least, this actually surprised me, but I wanted to include the By Terry Paris palette that I just recently picked up. This is number 3, the Mon Amour Paris. It's just such a great, usable, neutral palette for me. I end up reaching for it all the time since I got it. So I had to include this in my favorites because I really like the different finishes on these, and it's just like great for an everyday eye look. So this is another one that I wanted to include in my favorites. Let's move on to favorite lip products of 2020. And as I mentioned in my overall favorites video, my overall favorite addition would be the new SUQQU. This is the Comfort Lip Fluid Fog lipstick. And this is what I have on my lips right now. It lasts all day. It's comfortable. They have a fog formula and a glow formula. I find I actually like the fog formula a little bit better. You can see that it's matte, but it's not super matte, and it's comfortable. It has like that vinyl texture. And there are a lot of different color options. This one is my favorite, and unfortunately it's not available. This is shade 103 from the, from the holiday or the pre-holiday collection, I think. And I absolutely love it, but I haven't seen it come back in quite a while. So I don't know if it will ever be back, but I really love the formula. So this would be my number 1 pick. Another product I wanted to mention would be the Hermes Poppy Lip Shine. This smells like oranges. I absolutely love oranges, so this is something I love. It's refillable, and it's just a really nice, light tint. I'd say it's like a tinted lip balm, but there's very little color to it. So there's a slight orange tint to it, and there's some sparkle as well. So you can tell looking here at the bullet that there is some sparkle in there. And I've used this a ton. So you can see the sparkle is definitely going all the way through the bullet. And yeah, so this, I definitely plan on getting a refill when I run out of this because I love it. I wear it all the time. Now, other lip products that have stood out to me this year, this is another surprise to me. This is a matte liquid lip from Chanel. This came out with the fall collection, and this is number 836 Idyllique in the Rouge Allure Ink Fusion line. And it's a gorgeous red. It stays put. It looks great. And I ended up really liking it. And I don't typically like liquid lipsticks, but apparently I'm changing. So I really, really enjoy this. And I just want to mention the Chanel Rouge Allure Locks. They're not going to be included in my 2020 favorites because, well, they're a pretty new product, but I do really like them. And if for some reason you cannot get the SUQQU Fog or Glow lipsticks, they're a good substitute for it. They're not the same. There are definitely differences between them, but there are a lot of similarities as well. And because of those similarities, I think it is a decent substitute for the SUQQU Fog and Glow liquid lipsticks. Now, another line of lipsticks that I ended up really loving is the Givenchy Rouge Allure Deep Velvet line. And this one here is 36 Interdit. And it's like a super creamy, comfortable matte. It stays on your lips all day, but it's creamy. It's not like a flat matte. And they have quite a few gorgeous colors. So I really like Beige Nude, which I think is shade 10. I have 36 L'Interdit. I have another one as well, but those two would be my favorite, the red and the nude shade. They're fantastic. I also want to include this Guerlain lipstick case. So the shade that it comes with, 214, is a nice, like kind of more of an, they call it a classic red, but it's a warmer red. You can see a little bit of oranginess to it in my opinion, but this case is incredible. So this definitely goes in 2020 favorites. Another new formula that I really liked are the SUQQU Hydrating Lip Tints, and they were limited edition, but I believe they are now permanent, and I think these are a very nice product as well. And although these are not new to 2020, they were new to me in 2020, so I wanted to include these two shades of Chanel Glossomers. This is 722, and this one is 119, and I believe this is Noche Moscata and Bourgeoisie. And I wear the two of these all the time, separately or together, but I think they are just great lip glosses. So I love these, but my favorite lip gloss formula is definitely the Sisley Lafido gloss. So this shade here is number 7, Venus, which is a nude beige shade. And this would be my most used. I absolutely love this. I love the formula. They're incredible. So I really like these. And just a few more I'd like to mention. I have really been enjoying all of the Chanel holiday lipsticks. This one here is Pourpre d'Or, and I really like all of them. They all have a subtle bit of shimmer in there, but it's not really evident on the lips. It just gives your lips a little bit more luminosity in my opinion. But I love all of them. I have all 4 of the shades, and they are definitely favorites. I reach for them all the time. Then I also have a few lip cheeks from SUQQU that I want to include. So first off, we have the limited edition Rose de May one. If you're looking for like a pinky shade, this is like a perfect medium pink shade for me. I really love this. And of course the packaging on here is stunning. And then the spring collection, they released 2 of these lip cheeks. Well, they released 4 shades, and these 2 made it into my favorites. So we have this pink shade here, Lupine, and this is a little bit lighter and softer than the Rose de May. And then we have Honeysuckle, which is very similar to Honey Pot, but Honey Pot is a lip veil. This is a lip chic. So it's slightly more, you know, it's a little bit of a thicker formula. And then a lip veil that they came out with the fall collection. This is one that I reach for all the time. This is Plumeria, and it has become a go-to shade for me. And the packaging's limited edition, but the colors are not limited edition. So the colors will be back in regular packaging at some point for this at least, and the fall shades. And just 2 more things I want to mention. Pat McGrath came out with the new Divinal Lip Shines, and this one here is Nude Venus, and I really like these. So it's a thicker, more balmy feeling, but I think these are really nice. They are my favorite Pat McGrath lip formula. And then also, this is, again, it's not a new product, but it's new to me for 2020. These are the Sisley Fido Lip Twists. And this one here is the one I use the most. It's shade 1, Nude. You can see there, it's got some sparkles, some shimmer, and it's just a really nice, easy shade to wear. And I really love these. So I have quite a few of these sticks now. And that sums up all of my favorite eyeshadow palettes and lip products for 2020. So I hope this was helpful. Please let me know what your favorites are down below. I would love to hear them. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and healthy.